Have a look at this chapter. Resh Tzadik Zayin. He talks about a certain point which I think is so appropriate in chesed, in actions, which is a little bit of a conclusion. And then have a look. Next week we're going to do Professor Sashem. We'll do, where is it? Peyut Revi. The topic is Revi. It says here just Peyut Revi. No, you got it? It says just what it says. Peyut. Where does it come from? I think this is in the last section. In the last section, such a wonderful sefer this. You know, whatever, you can have a look in the sefer. It's so important. Here we are. At the end he says, Peyut Shlishi, other aspects of chesed, and Peyut Revi is the following. The heading is opportunity. Opportunity, taking an opportunity. Yes.
Okay, I just had a question. It's not really on this topic, but so last week we learned about Bikurim and how it's not appropriate for people who aren't supposed to go in the first 3 days. Is the same true also for Nicham Avelim? Should people who aren't supposed to not go at the beginning?
Because it's Yemei Bechia, you mean. Because they say it's Yemei Bechia, and therefore, I don't know, if people are close, then I suppose you could go. There's no issue in going for the first 3 days. I never saw such a thing. People don't usually go because it's harder in the time of Bechia for people who are not close to be there. For the Ovel, as well it is for the person who's visiting.
So should you not go because it's harder for them?
No, you should go.
A lot of people don't go the first 3 days, but it's
Why?
going to be harder for them.
Because they what?
Usually, like family, people are closer to them go the first 3 days, so that's like the
right, but that's I never saw anything about it that it's wrong to go. It's just that it is the first 3 days are days of Bechia.
But you don't want to make it harder for the Avel, so if it's harder for the Avel...
If you're close to the Avel, and it would mean a lot that if you did go, even though you're not family, then maybe you should go the first 3 days.
Yeah, or my father sat for 1 day in Arkansas, so my brother was here for 1 day and then went to America, so everybody in Arkansas, it didn't matter if they were close or not, came on that day.
Right.
Because that's a special situation.
No, but I would even go so far as to say that even if you're close to the person, then you should go straight away. I would have thought. I don't think it's they've made days of Bechia, therefore you shouldn't go for the first 3 days.
So if you're not close to them, let's say.
And you can't go any other time?
You could.
So maybe it is better to wait, I think.
But also sometimes even if you're not close to the person, if like you're the only one who's going to go, you should go.
Right. I went last night to a hotel.
There was a woman who was like really sick, and I think she was like, it was her last few days, and I went because like I used to visit her. She's an old lady, but she's like nobody else visited her, so she was so happy when they came.
No, I went last night with my wife. We went to the National Marble. Somebody was. No one else was there. No one else.
So sad. Really?
So what? You don't wait 3 days for that. You don't wait 3 days. No, it's not possible. Okay, Siv Bakwa. It says in the pasuk. This is you see the whole theme. I'm not going to do the whole peyut. I want to take 2 topics out. Rei hachaim im ha'isha asher ahavta. Look and enjoy the life with the wife who you love. Kol yemei chayei hevlecha. All the days of your life of vanity, meaning the days of your life. Asher nosan lecha tachas hashemesh kol yemei hevlecha. From Keheles, the time that you have to live, in the time that you are on this earth. Ki hu chalkecha b'chaim. Because this is your chelik in life. In other words, literally translated means that the husband and wife enjoy each other. Look, this is your wife, this is who you have, and therefore take the opportunity and enjoy what you're given. And then afterwards it says, afterwards it says the famous line, whatever you have in your hand to do it with all your strength. Don't do it with the left hand, do it with the right hand. If you have an opportunity to do it well. Because you should know there's no action or account or wisdom. Das is like application and wisdom in the grave. Asher ata holech shoma, where you are going to. No. Take advantage of the time that you have. When you have koyach, use it to the best. Don't waste your opportunity. If you have a chance to do a chesed, do it. Obviously, you realize, ladies, that when it says here, the wife who you love, it doesn't just mean the wife who you love, it means Torah and mitzvahs, which you'll see in a minute. Because the next pasuk says, if you have a chance to do something, take advantage and do it. Don't leave the chance, don't leave the opportunity. You'll see, you'll get into it and you'll see. Chofetz Chaim says, the explanation of this is as far as it appears to me, Al Pi Dimyan, I'll give you a mashal, and these are one of the great mashalim of the Chofetz Chaim, that there was once an Oshir Gadol. Listen to the mashal. The beauty of a mashal is you're distracted, you think about the mashal, the point slips in, and it's there. Because you're distracted. By distraction of thinking of the mashal, you're thinking of that, but then in the meantime the point gets in, and you wouldn't hear it otherwise. Because you need a distraction to get your attention. Look at the mashal. Hoya Gamkein, here he is. There was once a very Oshir Gadol, a very rich man. Hoya Gamkein, Novain Dovo, and he was a very clever man. B'chol Melechas Machshavos, he was good at computers. B'chol Chochma Umada, with all the wisdom and science, he was very, very capable and a skilled man. Vayihi Hayoim, and it happened, Shidisdaldel Mimatzovoi, he became a poor man. Vayered Mato Mato, and he became so low. Hachalo Hayalo Lechem Chukoi, he never had any money left. Hayoim Nafsha, and he said to himself, Eilech v'oshu pa'oretz, I'll go and wander around. Ulai perhaps, Yizdamini Eitzam Hashirim, maybe my luck will come about that I'll find a wealthy man, Hagavoyim, Ezer Mishmeres, and they need something watching, something guarding. Hanois Li, it'll be good for me. In other words, I'll become their servant, I'll become their guard, I'll find a job by a wealthy man, Lefi Matzav Yidiyasi, according to what I can do, and who knows, if I can find a job with a wealthy man and I can use my abilities, wonderful. Ubavadai, definitely, Ekach Esrim Rubo, I'll be able to get out of him 20 rubles of kesef, like, I don't know, $100,000 from him for a week. I'll be a wealthy man. Look what can happen here. So, I'm going to try it out. So when he arrived in town, by Yidrosh, and he looked around, all the places where the wealthy people hang out, excuse me, but do you need someone like me? And they all answered and said, Loi, we don't need you with your skills. No job for you. And he wandered around where all the wealthy people are, trying to use his skills and get a job. And he was now, he had nothing left. And he saw and he's going to die if he doesn't find some food somewhere. And he thought to himself, maybe I'm just going on the wrong path. To expect to be able to earn $100,000 just being a guard or somewhere, making a very good living, maybe I'm mistaken. I should go, maybe I should try and find a job. Maybe I can go and be a guard or some sort of watch. And maybe I'll only make, I don't know, $5 or $10 a week. But something. And he was overjoyed. Maybe I'll be able to find this. And he met, while he was looking round for this second type of job, one of his old friends. And he said to him, Ahuvi, my dear friend, tell me, what's doing? And he told him, and he told him that, oh, goodness, I'm so lucky. I earn $10, $15 a week. Wow, this is terrific for me. And the friend turned around and said to him, what do you mean, for a person like you with your doctorate and PhD and all your abilities, you took a job like that? You should be getting far, far more a week. Why do you take such a poor job? He answered him, he says, Hoi, Ochi, my dear friend, if only I could get a job like that. I would love it. And I searched around. But I was mamash on the breadline. I had nothing left. And if I go back home, I'm in such a terrible state. I don't even have that. What do you mean? And in such a desperate situation, just a little job of $4 or $5 a week, whatever I can earn. It'll be fine. And I'll live with that. Don't look further. Don't look at the next paragraph. Ladies, what's the nimshal? Beautiful moshel. There's the moshel. Beautiful. His time is hitting right bullseye, right at the point here. What's the nimshal here?
Sometimes you look for things that are too big that you can reach, and you don't take anything less than that, so that you're missing everything else.
Right. Anything else? You'll see how he spins it out, how the Chofetz Chaim puts it out. Yes.
Like a lot of times for me, I always think, I want to get the big cheseds, I want to do the big things, and like I'm going to go and make a program that's going to help out and then it's like, someone's like, could you do this for me? Could you run an errand with me? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't have time, I'm like working on something else. It's like, that's a chesed, that's so simple, and it's like,
right, it's not, that confuses you. What do you want to say?
That person doesn't don't need to go make be the millionaire and go and make all that money. He was so rich, he lost all his money.
Right.
Yet you need to make a living. You need to have as much money.
Right. You're all on the same thing. You're all on the right thing. Look at the way the Chofetz Chaim spends it. Look at how he says it. Kain hadova b'inyanim. Now he's taking down a certain path here. He's putting us on a certain path, which I think is so appropriate for you guys, leading out so going back to a message. And you want to have the right track. This is a wonderful track. Ki yesh shloisha inyanim yikorim v'nechbodim. There are 3 things which are exceptionally precious. Exceptionally precious. Asher ha'odam tzorich losu v'lidosh achareihem tomid v'oidain v'oilam hazeh. There are 3 things which you must hold on to as precious life to manage to survive ba'olam hazeh. V'kol echad zeh l'mata mizeh. Each one is beneath the next. Number 1, basic survival is limud Torah. To understand for a woman, it's different from a man. It's different from the man, I accept. It's not the same limud Torah. I would say more perhaps for a woman is shmiras haTorah. But the Torah, V'hu hagadol shebekulam. This is above it all. Sheschar limuda gadol mikol hamitzvos. The study of Torah is the greatest of all mitzvahs. V'onesh bituloi gadol mikol avonos. And you waste away, you push away the Torah. Let's project a little bit. When you get married with your husband, and you're deciding, whatever he's going to do with his life. But basic, you can't do without Torah, you and your husband. You have to have Torah in your home. That is called bread on the table. 2, inyan hatshuva. You'll see how he comes back to the pasuk in a minute. Let's just follow the cycle, how he does it. 2nd is tshuva. Shegam dover zeh hu chaviv v'nechmad. Checking yourself out if you're right in what you're doing. Chaviv v'nechmad. Ma'oig lifnei hamokum. It's very, very treasured to Hashem that a person is also always checking himself out. Gimel, lachapes v'lirdaif acha mitzvahs, the maisim tovim. Search out as much as you can to find mitzvahs and maisim tovim. Mitzvahs and maisim tovim. V'gam zeh inyan nichbod. That's very, very precious. These are like what's called basics that you have to have. Torah, tshuva, and maisim mitzvahs and maisim tovim. Torah is first. You have to have that as the point of survival. I'm really thinking more of you and your husband. Means Hashem, when you get married, limud Torah. The basics. I don't know what sort of husband you're going to have, and nor do you know. You don't know what way you're going to live. No one knows. But the point is, there has to be a basic survival kit. And that is, number one, there has to be Torah in your home. Number two, there has to be thinking of maybe we did something wrong. What's called a cheshbon, tshuva. It's tshuva. You'll see how he can explain it. Number three, to find a place to perform mitzvahs and ma'asim Torah. That's called a home. These three things you have to have. Let's see what he says. Kamosha Kosuv, Roidev tzedakah v'chesed, Yimsa chaim tzedakah v'kovei. If a person runs after tzedakah v'chesed, he will find. V'oid hakdama achas ketana shetzorich leida. And one extra thing that you need. Masher kosu hasvorim hakdoshim. Ki chochma v'das hakosu b'mikra hazeh. Go back a second. When it's said over here, you have to search out chochma v'das. What does it mean, chochma v'das? You won't get that in the kever. You'll only get that in your life. What does that mean? Says the Chofetz Chaim. He explains. Hu ramuz ala Torah. Shehi makor ha-chochma v'das. Person has to have Torah, which is the source of chochma. The cheshbon. What does cheshbon mean? Maramez ala tshuva. It means tshuva. Shehi bo al yedei cheshbon ha-nefesh. K'mo she'omu chachamim zechorim livrocha al akor al kein yoimu ha-moishlim bo cheshbon. Meaning, these three, Torah, tshuva, and mitzvahs and ma'asim Torah. Mitzvahs and ma'asim Torah go together. What's the chochma? Chochma is Torah. What's the cheshbon? The cheshbon is tshuva. Now we'll go back. Va'ato, and now. Let's follow it and you'll see where he's going. Yovayu haksuvim kamin choymen. Let's take the psukim in stages and explain what each means. Shemitchila Omar, at the beginning, Shlomo HaMelech said, Re'ei chayim, see the life that you have, im isha asher ohavta. Who is this woman who you love? Hi meremezes al ha-Torah, shenikreis shem isha. Torah has a nickname of an isha. That's why they call Eishes Chayil means a Talmud Chacham. Chayil is Gematria 48. The man who is married to his possessions of the 48 kinyanim of Torah. Eishes Chayil means a person who is married to his Torah. That's what it means. You're right, it means talking about a woman as well at the end of Mishnah. But the connection to Torah is really what is the connection to Torah, the devotion to Torah. It's called a wife. It's called, you grow together with Torah. Umasha omar hakosav asher ohavta. What does it mean who you love? Ki ha'adam tzarich lilmoid b'mokum shenibai chofetz. And the person has to learn Torah in a place where he wants. Torah can't be forced on anybody. You can't force Torah on your husband. You won't be able to force Torah on your child. It has to come from Av. Torah needs Av. Chopetz, he wants to. The woman who you love, the woman who you want, meaning the Torah that you want, has to be a desire. You can't force Torah. You can maybe force a child to do his maths homework. You can force a child to do, to make sure he cleans, makes his bed and washes the dishes. But you can't force a child to learn Torah. It won't work. It has to have Av. Av needs like the Isha, the connection. You need to have, your husband needs, and your children need to have limud Torah. That is the ikar of all. She is chazek atzma b'limud haTorah, the growth and the development of Torah. I'm missing all the footnotes. Just let's get to the simple understanding. And then, because of the Torah that you have in your house, which is called the basic, Mamela Litshuva Umaisim Tovim will follow. It follows. Taharei, the Birkas HaTshuva, because it says as follows. You know it says in the Shemona Esrei, Tiknu lanu mitchila levakesh al HaTorah. first comes Hashivenu Avinu L'Seichosecho, and then it says V'Koravenu Malkeinu L'Avodosecho. You can never do tshuva without Torah. That's the bracha. Hashivenu Avinu L'Seichosecho, V'Koravenu Malkeinu L'Avodosecho, V'Hachazirenu B'Seshuva Shalema L'Chonecha. But the first is Torah. Without Torah, you don't get to tshuva because you don't know what to do. They have to correct sins. Ki ha'rochot min ha'Torah, v'meila rochot mi'avodas Hashem. The person who's far from Torah is very far from avodas Hashem. Now, let's go on a little bit more. V'achakach, he's all learning up these psukim in Kohanis, and afterwards Shlomo HaMelech says, Kol asher timsa yodecha la'asois v'koichacha asei. Do it with a firmness. Do it well. Hainu shelef omim ha'adam hu tovut gadol. Sometimes a person is very, very troubled. You have a lot on. Ve'i efshar lo b'shum oifen leyashev da'ato l'limud Torah. You can't possibly. You haven't got the head for learning Torah. It can happen. Your husband maybe he just hasn't got the koyach. Too busy looking after you, looking after the children. V'gam lachshav im nafshav isponus v'tshuva. He hasn't got the time to do. It's not the time. So maybe he'll turn around and say, so maybe I don't have to worry about mitzvahs either. The most important thing is Torah. So if it's not Torah, then there's nothing. I don't have tshuva. No, you're all wrong. You're all wrong. Okay, therefore says Shlomo HaMelech, he warns you. Do something l'maisa. In other words, turn to mitzvahs. Obviously, yes, Torah is very important, and tshuva is important, but you should know mitzvahs are also very important as well. Don't discard one just because you can't do all three. Take and do whatever you can. And the reason is, but I suppose a person always has to think like that. One day I'll die, 120 years. You won't find anything there. There's no wisdom, das, too late. You'll never be able to do tshuva there. You can't do any maisa mitzvahs, it's too late. Okay, therefore, snatch, seize whatever you can do. Meaning, you as a lady in your home have to be, and I'm just talking now when in fact you get married, not long, and then you get married, you have a husband to help and to work together with the children. You have to do what's called chatoif. Snatch what you can. If you see your husband is not the type of person, I don't want to say too much, but who knows who you're going to marry? You have to make the most of what you have. Whatever you have as a husband. Your child cannot sit and learn that well. So maybe you should get him very, very busy with mitzvahs or ma'asim tovim or something. Do what you can. Snatch what you can at the best opportunity. Don't give up and say, since my husband's not going to finish Shas, he's a letdown to me. Ridiculous. Yeah.
Wasn't the Hasidic approach, the original Hasidic approach? The people were able to study Torah, so they said genitals and young.
Right. Make the most of what you have. Halavai, if your husband will be able to do Torah. That's wonderful if he becomes somebody like that. But should we open the door a bit? Somebody looks so. Shall we? You be cold? I think we need a bit of air. Okay, mine? You have to be realistic of this situation. It disturbs me so much because I go back to America and I see girls I taught 5 years ago, 10. I've been doing this for about 15 years now, different schools and everything. And you see girls who are so broken by their husbands, who are not, I don't know, machabes forim, and they're not. You have to use what you have, the abilities that you have, that you're given, the husband that you have. You daven for the best and make the most of what you have. You daven for the best. You're right, you daven for the best, but make the most of what you have and don't get down. by circumstances that, I remember in seminary that I was told that, and if he's not in Torah, then it's nothing. It's not true. The most that you can. Make the most of it. Chatoif, whatever you can. If he's in Torah, wonderful, he's in Torah. Lucky you. And if not, then in mitzvahs and tshuva, in mitzvahs. And not only that, I believe a woman must make him feel he's the best. I believe that's the job of a woman. That who you marry, you must make him feel the best who he is. Let me give you a pasuk. Maybe I said it before, I don't know, but it's such an important pasuk. It's like, it's the whole of a woman, this pasuk, behind this pasuk. Zamama sodeh vatikochecha. Zamama sodeh vatikochecha. Mipri kaperha not of korem. Mipri kaperha not of korem. Translate. Have it translate. She plans a field and she buys it. Go ahead.
And then from the fruit of her hands she plants
a
vineyard.
What happened here? Look carefully at the, what happened to this pasuk?
She turned the field into a vineyard.
She what? She
turned the field into a vineyard.
Look, she planned. What did she get when she bought?
Field.
Sodeh means Sodeh Pshuta. Sodeh means Poshut. Pshuta. Sodeh is Poshut. Nothing there. Zomam, she planned. What did she buy? A simple field. Mipri kaperha, from her hand, you know what she's now planting? Not of korem. It's not true. A kerem is the highest value in a field. A vineyard. It's the highest level field. Mipri kaperha, not of korem. That's not my pshat. That's what Sam Sofer said, a clever lady, when she first gets married, her husband is what's called a sodeh. Whoever he is. He's a young boy, 22, 21, 22, looks a nice guy, honest guy, and he's a sodeh. He's poshut. He's nothing special. He's only a bocher. He's a bocher. Yeah, but with the help of the lady, Mipri kaperha, not a kerem, he turns into being what's called a kerem, this bocher. How? Through her. From her actions, he became a kerem. Chasam Sofer's pshat. She turns her field into a vineyard. You make the most of what you have.
Like we learned with Zora.
Yes, wonderful.
Then we learned to
Patience.
situation. It's not like she married him to be married, not what was the situation she was in.
You stand for the best, but what you have, you make the most of. And this is so important for Shalom Bayis. Mama should say, it's so in Shalom Bayis. I don't know who you're going to get. You marry, the person you marry is the best. You make the best out of it. You make him into the best. Chatoif, snatch what you can. Use the opportunity that you have. It doesn't just mean privately. Of course, it's possible. Here, the Chofetz Chaim is specifically talking about Kol Yochid v'Yochid. He's talking about each person. I suppose Posher Pshat is that search for Torah, search for Tshuva, and search for mitzvahs, and take whatever you can do. And I wanted to label this before you get on the plane, that whatever you daven for the best, and what you have, you make the most of it. Chinuch bonim, mitzvah Hashem, with your children. I don't know what, maybe you'll have a child who's very, very average in intelligence. What can you do? That's what you've been given. I don't know how many times I sit with my wife at the kitchen table and we scratch our heads. What are we going to do with this child? What are we going to do? Not every child's a golden child. They're not golden children, they're not. What are we going to do with this guy? What do you do with the guy? He's like this. It's not like this. Everybody's like that, I suppose. You have to make the most of this child, whoever the child is. Use the opportunity. Take another pasuk. Mamash all in the Eishes Chayil. Sophia halichos beisa. V'lechem atzlus loy soichem. Similar but different. Similar to the pasuk of Zomama. Similar but quite different.
Which pasuk?
Sophia halichos beisa. V'lechem atzlus loy soichem. Similar but it's different to that pasuk of Zomama. Translate. Sophia halichos beisa.
She looks at the people in her house.
What's Sophia? A bit more than. Sophia is not searches. It's not looks. It's more.
Anticipates.
Yes. So, what's it called at Sophia? What's it Sophia?
Look out.
Look out. Not just look. Look out. Like a watch on a city is called at Sophia. He looks out. Sophia, not looking. Looking out. Sophia. Right? Halichos beisa. What? Halichos beisa. What does that mean?
The people that walk in the house.
She takes for the good of the family.
What happened in the house?
She looks around. She looks ahead of what's happening in that halichos beisa. What's going on in the house? V'lechem atzlus.
The bread of laziness.
What does that mean? What's lazy bread?
Like getting stuff without working for it.
Right. Lazy bread. Lo soichel. She don't want lazy bread. What do you mean she don't want lazy bread? She doesn't like eating lazy bread. What is lazy bread?
Getting things without working for it.
Meaning?
Getting like
a home and a car and house and beautiful kitchen and everything, and now you all set up and all she does is takes. And maybe some women do have that, but she don't like that. This woman, she doesn't like taking something for nothing. She's given a lot. A woman is given a great deal in her home. She's given a great deal. She's given a lot. Her husband looks after her. Maybe her parents will buy her a nice house. I don't know. A woman is very much looked after by. Most of the life of a woman is not earning money. A woman is looked after. She doesn't like eating lazy bread. She never earns the money. So what does it mean?
so much other stuff you can work for besides learning.
What does it mean though? Come on, rub the pasuk out. Feel the pasuk out. What does it mean?
She doesn't just take from her husband the money her husband gives to her.
She does. She spends it. She doesn't really.
But she uses it wisely.
But she makes it her house.
But how does she not eat lazy bread?
I think I know. The situation, one time you said that you went to America, there was a person that, she was sitting around, there was like different servants who doing mitzvahs for her, and things like that. So you shouldn't like have the servants take away the mitzvahs and stuff like that. You go and you do the mitzvahs, you go like go and walk the guests out the door, and you go and like make the bed and stuff like that. Don't give up all, and don't be like lazy. Don't let everybody else do it for you.
Right. Deserve what you have.
Yeah.
That's the point. Deserve what you have. She wants to be a deserving lady, not a spoiled lady. She wants to be a deserving lady. She doesn't earn any money. She doesn't have to earn any money. But she's a deserving lady. She tries hard. She does her bit very well. She doesn't earn money. He earns the money. But that doesn't matter. She's what's called a deserving lady. She's not a lady who eats lazy bread. She is a lady who deserves the bread she eats. Yes?
I know somebody who, the husband and wife both had to work to make ends meet, and then the husband got some promotion, I don't know, whatever it was, but then she didn't have to work anymore, and literally, like, her entire life is chesed. Every second that she's like awake, like the second she wakes up until she goes to sleep, she's working for her family, for the cloud, for anybody, anything. Which means because she has time, she doesn't have to work.
But not all women. To be fair, not all women can do that. You have to be fair to, she's a special lady. This woman,
right? Yeah.
She's a special lady. I think it's a little. If you stop, and I wanted to stop you a second. Not every woman can do that. I think you have to be fair. This lady is a special lady.
Yeah.
Right, fine. But I'm saying, you with your koichas, with your abilities that you have to make the most and be a deserving lady. That's all. That's not too tough. I don't like these stories. If you'll excuse me, I stopped great ladies who do so much and so much. Not everybody can do that. What you can do it well. That's what it means. What you're capable of doing. Because not everybody can do so much. Some people are not so capable. Some people are not so strong. Some people are. I'll be quite honest with you. My own wife. She works full time in the house. Full time in the house. She's full time. She can't run chesed programs. She hasn't got the. She can't. She can't run chesed programs. She's very, very busy. She doesn't have any free time. But she's busy doing lots of things for the family. So, I think it's sometimes a woman can feel terribly guilty. I don't run a tzedakah program, I don't have a gemach, I don't, but no, let's not call in categories, because I think what you can do the best that you can. That's all. Let's leave it at that. Be a deserving lady, and not be a lady who is spoiled lady. Let's just carry on. And now I will explain to you, Masha Koma HaKosuf, do what you can with strength. The L'chayra, yes, why does it have to say the word with your strength? Why does it say that? Just say do it. Why do you say with your strength do it? This is the Chofetz Chaim. He's teaching us something very important. This shir today is all Musa, but Chofetz Chaim wrote halacha as well as Musa as well, and all dinim. And this is an important part of the Sefer. Every individual has to improve themselves. Mamish, exactly what I was just telling you. With your strength, do what you can, which comes to your hand with your strength. If it's learning Torah, don't turn around and say, my children will be tzaddikim. And because of them I'll become a great lady because my children, my husband. No, you don't think like that. But your children will also be busy. Don't depend on others to bring merit for you. That's what he means. Everyone's relying on everybody else. It's all wrong. Who in our generations was greater than Hillel. No question, the children of Hillel were great tzaddikim. And yet nevertheless we see Hillel said in Pirkei Avos, Im ein ani li mili. If I am not for myself, then who am I? Yeah, but what did he have to work so hard for? He relied on his family. What will we say? People who are like standing against the wall. We're not as great as the people in the previous Doros. Who knows what the next door will be? Al Kain, therefore, Shlomo says, what you can do, you still have the strength to do things. Do whatever you can and try your hardest. Be an opportunist. Take the chance that you can and maximize on your own abilities. That really is the greatest mussar which he's saying here. I want to give you two mashalim. They're really both the same, but Chofetz Chaim brings it out in the Sefer Shmos HaLashon. Shmos HaLashon, he brings out two mashalim. I think I might have said it before. Ever told them about the barrel of apples? No, there was some mashal, the barrel of apples, Chofetz Chaim. She what? Right. It's a famous mashal. He talks about Shmos HaLashon. Chofetz Chaim says, when an old woman has no parnasa, so she's standing in the market selling apples. So along come a group of little kids. They turn around and say, let's have some fun with the lady. So one boy stands in the front and starts talking to her about buying apples, and the other five stand around the back and start stealing. He distracts her, and he talks to her, and the others start clapping and clapping. All of a sudden she turns around, and she sees that they're taking all her apples. She's got nothing left, all her parnasa's going. So she stands there in the middle of the market screaming, Ganovim! They're taking all I have! Ganovim! She comes past a wise man. The wise man turns around and says to her, lady, stop screaming. If they're chapping, you chap! Chap! Don't scream. If you can stand there in another 5 minutes, the whole lot will go. So take what you can. They're taking, you take. Don't just stand there like a dummy. Do something about it. Take. Moshel of the Chofetz Chaim. Person turns around and he says it actually regarding Shmos HaLashon. He says it regarding it's the Hakdom of Shmos HaLashon. The Chaim says as follows. Person turns around and says, I'll never be like, I don't know, the Chofetz Chaim. I can never be such a Kodesh. And me, I can never talk like that. Say, okay, so what can you do? You can do 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, Shmos HaLashon. Do something. Don't lose the whole mitzvah. Don't lose the whole thing and say, it's not for me and therefore I know. So do what can you do? You can do something, take what you can. I mean, that's the natural thing. I think when a person tries to work hard in Shmos HaLashon, for example, they always turn around to you and say, take a half an hour a day. Start with that. Don't lose the whole mitzvah. The whole point. So take something. And you might find yourselves in America in a situation where, I don't know, you really haven't got time to go into a shiur. Say, okay. You really haven't got time for davening much. You're too busy. Say, you really haven't got time, I don't know, for chesed. Say, so what, the whole thing goes? No. So maybe listen to a tape when you can. Or, I don't know, get up a little bit earlier and then you do have time. Do one chesed a week or something. Don't lose everything. Take what you can in the circumstances that you have. If you can take more, take more. Second mashal, beautiful mashal. All the time says in the same place, it's a great mashal, this one. Man's going down the street. On the other side of the street, his friends called out to him, and he says to him, "Oh, Yankel, where are you running to?" So he said, "Kai, I haven't got no time to talk to you. I can't stop." So he said, "Why?" He says, 5 to 9. I have to open my store. He calls over to him and says, "No, Yankel, you'll never ever become a Rothschild." Moshe Chofetz Chaim. Man turns around and says, "Rothschild? Who needs to be a Rothschild? I need to make a living. Rothschild? I'm not thinking about being a Rothschild. I need to make a living." What's the nimshal?
Same thing. It's the same mashal.
Same mashal.
Someone else, do yourself.
Do what you can. You don't make a living. You have to make a living. Do something. Don't just turn around and say, "No, it's impossible. I can't." Say it. Okay, you can't do that. What can you do? What can you do? And I think, from my experience as a girl in Chutz La'aretz, when she goes back, I was 2 years you've been around here. You're on quite a high madrega. You've learnt a lot, and you've grown a lot. So now you're going to be in a situation where perhaps it won't be so easy for you. And it's a shame, then you get married, Shah Tova. That's what, I mean, what you have to do is chap what you can. Take what you can. The girls who succeed in this interim period, from leaving seminary to becoming a kala, are the girls who are called what's called opportunists. Opportunists. That's the way to do it. Take what you can. And I see them all the time when I go back now. I know them all. I know the girls who I taught, Baruch Hashem, we meet, we have shiurim, and I talk to them. I love it. Be an opportunist. Take what you can. You're living at home, do what you can. What you can't do, you can't do. But don't give up because you can't do everything. It's exactly the same with your husband as well. Whatever type of husband you have, whatever you can. Whatever the most you can get out of it. You have to be an opportunist. Last point, we're going to jump, which I wanted to show you at the end of the chapter. Turn to page Shin Hey. Is there time? Yes. It's going to keep you a few more minutes. Shin Hey. When I first heard this mashal, I heard it in a shiur, and it shook me up. I think I shivered a bit when I heard this mashal. But it's a powerful mashal. This whole shiur today is a little bit of musa, but take a look at this mashal of Chofetz Chaim. You have it in front of you. You take the sefer home. You'll have it in front of you. Mashala b'medrash. Here's another mashal. Chofetz Chaim's mashalim outstanding in their accuracy. They hit the point. Mashal la'adam. Shin Hey. Shahaya lo'i shloisha chaveim. There was once a man who had 3 good friends. Ha'echad, I have a ma'oid. One friend he loved dearly. He was an exceptionally dear friend. Hasheni, I have a v'lo kol kach. The second friend was a friend who he loved, but he didn't love him so much. Shlishi, lo haya I havai. The third friend he never loved at all. V'lo chashava l'ma'uma. And he really never thought anything of him at all. He was somebody who he knew, but 3 friends. First one, his very best friend. Second one, someone he loved a little bit. The third one, in English they would say he is an acquaintance, someone who he knew. Once the king called this man, the Sarisei HaMelech and the officers of the king's exchequer and the finances, income tax came along, and they turned around and they said, you are ordered to appear in the court of the king. And he was absolutely terrified. Why on earth have I been called to go in front of the king? And he was terrified. Who knows? Maybe someone told the king something bad about me, and he's going to kill me. I am terrified. I must take along my friends. My friends who I can trust with. They'll come with me. And if they come with me into the court, and I bring them into court with me in this great trial I have, maybe they'll be able to offer a defense on my behalf. So he went first of all to his very best friend, and he said, his best friend, he told him that he'd been called to the court, and he said, on no account am I coming with you. I'm not coming with you. He was broken. I thought you loved me. I thought you were my best friend. And he was a broken spirit. He went away. No, I'm going to try my second friend. Maybe my second friend, who not such a great friend, maybe he'll come with me. I'm not coming straight into the court. I cannot come all the way. I'll accompany you to the courthouse. I'm afraid to say, once the doors of the court opened, I'm going home. I'm not coming any further. So then he decided, no, that's not enough. Who you didn't ever think that he was close with at all. He really never thought he was friendly with him at all. Listen, my dear friend, you're not really my dear friend, but do me a favor. Can you come with me? And he said, you know what the other 2 guys said? Al tiro! Don't be scared. I'm going to come all the way with you. And I'm right there with you, and I'll stand next to you. Ladies, what's the nimshah?
The first one is money, and the second one is the relatives that take this person to a liar, and the third one is Meisim Tovim.
Right, and they take you all the way. The Torah and the Meisim Tovim take you all the way. Super marshal that. You didn't think that they were so close with you, your Torah and your Meisim Tovim. You really didn't think that your family is much closer than that. You thought. You didn't realize who really loved you the most. Who your closest friends are your Torah and your Meisim Tovim. And it's not really such a marshal. In reality, each person is for themselves. You are what you are. You might have a father and a mother and family and everything like that. End of the line, you are you. You are who you are, not what your family made of you. It's you. And therefore, you have to build yourself up. And that is the greatest defense after 120 Shana, what you yourself have. Your own Torah and your own Meisim Tovim. How you build yourself up, your own tefillah, your own sneers, your own chesed, you, your own build. That's the moshel. What you said over is exactly the nimshal. That's exactly the point. That's really the whole share which I wanted to say. The importance of using an opportunity. Whatever you can take and use on, Don't live in cloud nine. Don't live in fantasy world and thinking that, this is what I thought I'd marry, this is what I thought marriage would be like. This is what I thought my husband would be like. This is what you'll have a husband. Mitzvah Hashem, you have to make the very most of what you have. Yes?
So then if you see that your husband's not turning out to be anything you thought you do, then you have to take the blame though. You have to say, oh, it's
Blame?
me.
Why blame?
Not blame, saying responsibility, different word. You have to take responsibility.
Together. It's not a blame. I don't think it's a blame.
Okay, wrong word. Responsibility.
You make the most. You make the most of what you have.
I know. I'm saying if let's say even when you set out with goals and stuff, and you say you gotta be able to learn this amount or do this amount of classes, I got a house like this, and you see like your husband is like, let's say not really learning and whatever it is, and he wants to, you have to take responsibility though.
I would say something like this. I would never be as castigating, as hard as that. I would say something like this. You have to take responsibility for the situation. That's all. Nothing more than that. Responsibility for the situation. This is the situation. That's all. It's not blame. You have to be responsible.
Okay, the word blame.
No. It's responsibility. It says this is the situation you're in. This is the sign you're in. I'm not talking chas v'shalom about a get. I'm not talking about a get when you have to. I'm not talking about. But you're not. It's not. But the reality of the situation is not what you want.
No, I'm saying because you said that the amount that, like, what the Sam Sober said that it's her husband is a son and she has to make him into a Karen. So if he doesn't seem to be becoming a Karen, then you have to take responsibility for that.
How do you know it's not going to become a Karen? Maybe you're too apprehensive. You're too impatient. No, I mean it.
Right.
It takes time.
And also,
what does it say by a tzaddik? Tzaddik katomo yifroch ke'erez b'amon niske. Why a tomo? No, it takes so long to grow. As against grass. Rishoim yotzitzu ke'eseb. A rosh is like grass. It grows very quickly. It takes years to grow a cedar tree. It takes years to grow a palm tree. It takes a long, long time.
What's the thing about Rishon?
Tzaddik base in Tehillim. Before Chushoyim K'ma Yosef, Tzaddik Katoma Yifroch. Takes time. Be patient. Use the opportunity and be responsible with the opportunity that you have.
And also, we learned in different class that that one of the reasons that Yaakov saw like Rachel like as better or whatever it is, because greatness wasn't, let's say, coming out of her, like Malchus coming from Yehuda, coming from Leah. So like the idea of a simple Pasha Jew is like was more like appealing or something like that. So it was so Hashem doesn't want us to become great tzaddikim. Hashem wants us to become simple, like mensch Jews. Like, is that the deal? Like,
do your best. Do your best. Do your best. Do your best. Next week then we'll do Mitzvah Hashem Sameach Chosn L'Kala. Next week. I'll try and get